Welcome to June's Energy Update, where we look at the sacred geometry, sacred numerology, the cosmic and astrological alignments that we meet this month, and find pathways and wisdom teachings to help us navigate all the frequencies and energies available for us and to us during this month. But before we step into the teachings, I invite you to step into the quantum field. So an important part of my teachings is always to 0 point field your awareness. So with that, the invitation is to presence your awareness on your breath. And with that invitation of your awareness in the breath, we step deeper and further into ourselves as we presence our awareness into the quantum field and allowing the breath to guide us into the 0 point field, the quantum field. So taking this moment to presence your awareness within the 0 point field. And from this void point, from this still point, we open and align ourselves to the infinite potential and possibilities of the quantum field. And we call forward the wisdom teachings, the frequencies, the guidance that are here to be of service to us, to bring alignment, to bring healing, and to bring expansion through our soul evolutionary growth. And all information that comes to us that is not in alignment, that is not serving our growth, the invitation is always to discard it, to leave what is not of service to you, to leave that behind, and to always work within this 0 point field of alignment and of sovereignty, to always call forward the highest alignment, highest timeline, highest frequency for yourself. And as you continue to listen to this teaching, I invite you to always step into that and to be really discerning of what is serving your soul evolutionary growth. So with that, let's step into the teachings. Okay, so let's go into looking at the sacred geometries of this month and what they bring forward for us. So June is month 6, and when we look at the sacred geometry of the 6th, it is the hexagram. And if you looked at last month's teachings, you will see that I mentioned already that the hexagram and the pentagram are very linked. They are highly venerated symbols. They are gateways of the interconnectedness. They are the keys of creation. And through these two gateways, sacred geometrical symbols and mystery teachings, we can access the interconnectedness of the cosmos through the dimensions and the portals. And when we go back into that one foundational principle, that all is one. So a powerful, powerful symbol for us to use as a gateway in our soul evolutionary expansion as we are walking this path of ascension, as we are walking the path of remembering who we are and what we are here to do. The pentagram is a powerful symbol that really aligns and connects us back into the wisdom and the teaching of that. And when we look at the pentagram, so before I go a little bit deeper into that, just wanted to show you two symbols that I downloaded and coded for us to work with the teachings. So when we look at the pentagram, we can see it is the 6-sided cube. And we will come back into this, the snowflake symbol. We'll come back into that. And then we also look at the six-pointed star, which is also known through many of the mystery schools. And we can see that the six-pointed star also brings a lot of teachings for us in terms of the interconnectedness. But the most important aspect is the dualism, the light and the dark. So we see the two interconnected triangles. We can see heaven, earth, light, dark, the masculine, the feminine. So it's all about dualism. So the pentagram brings us right into this connection that all is of dualistic nature. Our cosmos is made up of polarities, and through dualism, we can experience that, and we can experience ourselves as well. So beautiful teachings that can come through with that. So as above, so below, heaven and earth, and this gateway, you know, this key, which we can see later when we look at the numerology and the teachings of the astrology, that the key is the heart center, the number 6, and the wisdom teachings that come forward from the astrological alignments as well. So the pentagram, the hexagram, not the pentagram, the hexagram. The hexagram we can see, like the pentagram, we can see it all through nature. So when we look at nature, we can see that we have this in our DNA. Our DNA structures are made up of the hexagram. We see it in the beehives. We see it in nature. We see it in the seed of life symbology. We see it also in atoms, cells, the crystalline structures of the earth grids, and within the DNA strand. So again, a huge building block in the foundations of all of creation, the symbology. When we looked at last month, when we looked at the pentagram carries the asymmetry, which is the ceaselessness of creation, because the asymmetry brings us into the golden ratio, that Fibonacci sequence that we see is through all of creation, from that microcosmic perspective within the cell structure, within the DNA structure, all the way into the cosmic womb. Whereas the slight difference with the hexagram is that the hexagram has symmetry. So the pentagram is the 5-sided, the hexagram is the 6-sided, and the symmetry of the pentagram brings this structure, it brings a foundation, it solidifies. So those are one of the aspects that's quite important for us. When we're finding that we really need to solidify, when we're finding we need a little bit more strength with something, when we need a little bit more order, we can step into the hexagram teachings or connecting with the hexagram rather than the pentagram. It also brings beauty because of the symmetry. So when we look at something that is symmetrical, it always has beauty. So the hexagram brings with it beauty as well as cosmic flow. Because of that symmetry, it allows things to start to flow. And that's quite important, particularly when we're feeling stuck. Okay, because of the cosmic flow that moves through when we connect to the teachings and the wisdom of the hexagram. So the hexagram, like the pentagram, is a highly venerated symbol. And we see it dating back eons of time. So when we go back into King Solomon's texts, we can see the Star of David. And the Star of David is a symbol of protection, of shielding, of manifestation. So again, really powerful symbol to bring in, like the pentagram in terms of shielding, of protecting our energies, and to really focus in when we go into the hexagram's still point, this void point of the hexagram, we can start to work with our manifestations. Not only what is it that we're wanting to manifest within our life, but the manifestation of our divine blueprint, because there is something, when you look at the hexagram and the pentagram, and you look at the structure of it, that's in our DNA, our cellular structure, it's in the Earth's grids, it's all through nature. It allows you, this is always a choice point, it allows you, should you choose, to work with it, to start to connect with your divine blueprint and to start to awaken your blueprint, to work with it in divine alignment, in divine expansion, for you to fully activate and to break down all of the blocks within your blueprint. We are here to walk the path of remembrance. And I really firmly believe that the pentagram and the hexagram are those keys which help us to activate our blueprint and to really clear all that is blocked, constricted, restricted within our coding, so that we can activate our divine sovereign truth within the blueprint. So let's go and look a little bit back at the symbology of the six-pointed star. So when we look at the six-pointed star, we see that it's been around since King David as a form of protection. We also see the rune of Hagilas. So let me quickly find an image for you. The rune of Hagilas and the snowflake. Okay, so these are the runes of Hagilas and the snowflakes. These will be within our hexagram. And the rune of Hagilas is the original pattern of all of creation. And the snowflake we see within our hexagram and is known to be the angelic template. So again, the key to who we really are, awakening our divine blueprint by connecting to our angelic template, which is hidden within, which is also connected to the seed of life, sacred geometry, and that's hidden within the pentagram. I keep saying pentagram, hexagram. I'm going to keep doing this throughout this recording. Apologies. So within the hexagram, I'm going to have to write hexagram on the forehead so that I don't make that mistake. Okay. So let's come back into looking at the hexagram. We also see it in India. We look at it's called the Shaktana, and it's known for sacred marriage. And this is all about sacred union. This is about the alchemy of the light and the dark. So if you look at this code that I downloaded, we can see the dualism, the light and the dark. This is the sacred marriage that takes us into sacred union. And from that place of sacred union, all of creation exists. So powerful, powerful tool for us to work with. Yeah. When we looked at the pentagram last month, we saw that Venus played a huge role in the pentagram, because Venus, as she dances through the sky, she dances through in her 5-petaled formation. Whereas this month, with the hexagram, we look at Mercury. So when we twist our triangles, our star this way, so the triangles, which is a 6-pointed star, which is a double tetrahedron, when we just twist it that way, then we see that Mercury, when it dances through the sky, when Mercury dances through the sky, he moves through this formation. So his juncture points, he has 6 juncture points in the sky, and that is his dance through the sky. So we've got this connection here with Mercury, and we'll see how important Mercury is when we look at the numbers and the astrology, because in the month 6, it's Gemini, and it's all about Mercury. Mercury is the Lord of communication. So we've got divine wisdom that allows us also to connect through with the hexagram geometries. And when we work with that, when we tap into the teachings of Mercury, and we connect into the divine wisdom, we're also able to start to transcend the lower egoic mind. We're able to transcend, collapse, dissolve all those templates, those codes, and those timelines, which keep us into these viral and old patterns and conditions of belief patterns which are not serving us anymore, which aren't in alignment to the activation and the awakening of our blueprint. And Mercury is a wonderful planetary alignment that teaches us, and we can see how Mercury and the hexagram are closely linked in terms of teaching us the divine wisdom that exists within us. Again, when we look at our imagery, our symbology of the 5, I'm going to do this all video long, aren't I? When we look at the symbology of our 6-pointed star, the hexagram, we can see that it is the heaven and earth, which is about our body and our spirit. So the earth, which is the feminine energy, connects us into the body. So it's about this embodiment of the divine wisdom, which is coming forward from Mercury and other celestial realms and beings. And we can pull that information forward for us. We can connect it in, we can embody that into the body so that we can come into this sacred union within ourselves. So we've got spirit and body in sacred union. We've also, when we look at the image of the 6-pointed star, we can also see that this is the Merkaba. So the Merkaba is the activation of our light body. And again, the light body is used to assist us to travel through different dimensions and realms. So again, so much for us. I mean, I'm just doing tidbits because obviously if I went deeper into all of these videos would be so lengthy. But each section, you know, the sacred geometry in itself would be a huge teaching model. The numerology would be a huge teaching model, and the astrological and cosmic alignments would be a huge teaching model. So I'm just really giving you like top end notes on each aspect so that you can start to connect with, right, what am I looking at? What am I working with this month? What am I noticing for myself, which is in alignment, which is in distortion? What am I wanting to really activate when I connect to the sacred geometry and the wisdom that the sacred geometry brings us this month? And here I can see that actually I can start to transcend the low egoic mind. I can start to collapse all these old belief patterns, and I can start to activate through powerful healing, through the sacred marriage, through the alchemy, activating the light body as we come into this oneness, and we can start to access higher wisdom to activate our DNA. And through the hexagram symbols, we can start to step into the cellular structure and start to dissolve all those viral programs, conditions, and codes which aren't supporting us, and really bring forward higher teachings, higher wisdoms, anchor them, embody them in, activate it through the cellular structure, through the cellular memory, and then 0 point that within the quantum field so that we can work through the quantum field in that oneness. Okay, so beautiful tool for us to work with. Within the Merkaba, within the double tetrahedron, we have got all the symbologies of our elements, the 4 elements. We have got earth, water, fire, and as well as the air element all in here. So again, we've got all of the foundational elements that make up our Earth Mother, that make up our foundations, are within our hexagram, 6-pointed star. Okay. So there's so much wisdom for us to tap into just by, connecting with these few points that I've brought forward. The other thing also is that we can, when we connect to the information here, we can connect into looking at our underworld and upper world journeys. Okay. So everything that sits in the upper world will be in our top-facing triangle, and everything that is in the underworld is within our bottom-facing triangle. So this will be the earth and the water, and the upper world will be the fire and the air. And again, upper world will be heaven and underworld will be earth, because we are also choosing to be here on earth. So, and that's earth, body, underworld. Okay. So let's look at some of the things that we can bring forward when we look at the qualities and heal the DNA and rewrite codes. We can rewrite our belief system. It helps to strengthen something that lacks structure and order. It clears stagnant energy. It helps you discover the inner healer, the inner magician through the alchemy process, and it helps you manifest. So both the hexagram and the pentagram are powerful codes of manifestation. And it helps you discover why you came here and what you came to do. So it's very much connected to that soul alignment. And it really puts you on the trajectory of your soul evolutionary pathway. And some of the qualities that we have are structure, bonding, materialization, sustaining creation, shielding and protecting. It connects us to the multiverse, to spirituality, to faith. It connects us through the heart chakra to the sacred marriage. It helps us with astral travel, and that's through the light body of the Merkaba. So again, so much to tap into. Very, very, the pentagram and the hexagram are powerful tools of interdimensional travel, wisdom, ancient, highly venerated, sacred geometries, highly protected. We still don't have full access to all of their teachings because they've been so protected, restricted from us, so that we are not fully embodying their teachings. So lots for us to really explore as we step into learning all of that. So let's have a look at the sacred wisdoms that come forward with the teachings of the number 6. I happen to love number 6. 6 is one of my favorite numbers. And 6 is known to be the arc lines where destinies and fate are written. 6 is connected to the sun. It is a golden color, and it connects us to the heart. So 6 is that bridge, that takes us straight into the heart, that connects us between heaven and earth. So think about what we learned when we looked at the sacred geometry of the hexagram with the double tetrahedron, heaven and earth. And the bridge that takes you into the center of that is the heart center, okay, which is the number 6. Okay, so this bridge that connects us between heaven and earth, light and dark, that takes us into this alchemical process of sacred union, of sacred marriage. Can the 6 also be one of the mystery school teachings that unlocks all the wisdom that connects us into the all of creation? So 6 is the bridge, but it is also, in my viewpoint, one of the keys that unlocks the mystery teachings of all is interconnected, from the microcosm to the macrocosm. 6 guides us straight into this place of connecting to our heart, where we can be of service, where we understand responsibility, where we understand our obligations, and where we learn to open our heart centers to ourselves first, as well as to all of creation. It is the number of vision, of acceptance, and of heart-led service practices. It connects us to devotional practices, connects us to meditative prayer. So I'll come all back into that now in a second. When we look at 6, 6 is a beautiful wisdom teacher because there's been a lot of conditioning and a lot of programs that we now recognize aren't serving us when we are of service in a way where we are under-resourced and under-depleted within ourselves. So if we look at the hexagram and the structure and the foundation that it brings and how it solidifies and strengthens for us, and we start to bring 6 energy into this, the number 6 into this. 6 helps us as we learn to be of service, as we learn to be heart-led, soul-led. We learn to also hold, and this is why I did a double barrier here, a double border with the hexagram, is that 6 really teaches us how to fortify these qualities so that when we are of service, when we are heart-led, we are really clear and defined within ourselves of what is serving our soul evolutionary growth and expansion, what is allowing us to heal our own heart, what is allowing us to alchemize the wounds within our own heart, so that we can step out of relationships, where we can step out of commitments, obligations, and responsibilities, because 6 is all about that. It's about being of service. It's about understanding our obligations, our responsibility. It's about community and connection. So how can we stay in harmony and balance and be really fortified within that in a way that allows us to keep moving forward, aligned, authentic, sovereign, and in expansiveness? Because if any of those are out of balance, what happens to our field is that we start to contract, we start to constrict, we have distortions, we have overlays of distortions because we don't have these clear boundaries and parameters. So again, if you are wanting to understand a little bit more about those, each month leads onto the next, each teaching leads onto the next, we can layer them. we can work with them. And I really encourage you to go back to April's teachings, because the 4 was the first pathway about boundaries for us, how we can come into this void point and be self-assessing, discerning on what is going to be of service, so that we can be of service within our purest light and not be depleted by others, by our obligations. Okay, so again, beautiful teachings for us to step into when we can just connect with these images about how can we step into working with the number 6, coming into this center point of the number 6 and focusing on ourselves so that we can be in this expansive place for us. 6 is about nurturing, but we need to nurture ourselves, right? It's about relationship. What's your relationship with yourself like first? This bridge that takes us into the heart. So when we, part of our path here is to be the bridge between heaven and earth. We are here to embody our light, our codes, our divinity, so that we can grid that into the collective as a teaching, as a tool, as a mechanism that will assist the collective in their healing and their soul evolutionary growth and expansion. So how can we do that? And that's a huge question when you look at the 6. Coming into this place of being heart-led, of being in a place of open-heartedness, of being in expansion. What is required for you? What do you need to clear? What programs about yourself? What conditions? What is your inner voice still communicating to you? That relationship with yourself. How are you connecting and communing with others? Okay, so void point, still point, coming into that is really important for us as we do this sacred work of healing. This is that sacred alchemical work where we alchemize all that is in darkness and density into light for our expansion. Yeah. 6, one of the mottos for 6 is lead with love. But we really need to have done the inner work for ourselves, right? We need to have done underworld journey. We need to have done shadow work. We need to have really clear boundaries, and we need to be able to be really clear within ourselves, stand in that sovereign truth for ourselves so we can lead with love. Leading with love isn't all fluffy. It's not all being complacent and giving in to others. You can lead with love, and we need leadership with love right now to heal some of what's happening in the collective. And there's very distorted leadership happening right now. There's no love being led right now, or our global economies and our global societies aren't being led in love at the moment. Right, let's step back into the teachings. I don't want to get sidetracked on what's happening in the collective field globally. We all know what's happening, and obviously when we heart center ourselves and we can connect to the love there and emanate that is a huge ripple of healing for the collective field. 6 is also known as the connector and the unifier. So as this bridge, as this key that connects heaven and earth, connects the upper world, the underworld, the cosmic realms, the earthly realms. Okay, as this key, it links us, it unifies us in our connection with the microcosm and the macrocosm, and it opens up that pathway to all is one. And through that, we can, should we choose, we can start to connect through the realms in our light body, or connecting into that sacred wisdom that we can tap into when we open up these geometries. 6 is the number of devotion and dedication. So when we use the number 6 frequencies, when we come into the numerology, the sacred numerology of 6, and we use those frequencies with conscious intention, okay, they will support our evolutionary expansion, because the 6 will link you into the sacred geometry anyway. Okay, and the 6 itself is a beautiful, powerful teacher. I feel there's a lot of gentleness with the number 6. But she definitely, 6 for me has a feminine energy, but she definitely is very heart opening, and guides us very skillfully into understanding our heart-led practices, our meditative, connective prayer, and the divine wisdom, intelligence, and soul voice that comes forward from that. Okay. 6 helps you to be a clear conduit of the divine, and allows you to tap into the higher degree of energy which you can bring into your life. Beautiful wisdom teacher, should you choose. Okay. So 6, again, helps us with flow, cosmic flow. So when we looked at the hexagram has flow in it because of the symmetry. 6 aligns us to cosmic flow, because 6 is if we look at the numerology, it's connected to the sun, and everything orbits around the sun. So if you're in a place right now where you're feeling, that saying, same shit, different day, this stuckness, stagnant, if things are feeling emotionally, mentally, physically stuck, stagnant, if you're feeling like you're on that rat race and you're just feeling completely depleted by that, then the invitation is to step into working with the numerology of 6, asking 6 to be that wisdom teacher, bringing that cosmic flow, bringing that opening within your vessel to be a conduit of that divine frequency and divine blueprint that flows through you, so that your life can be more expansive and you can be aligned to your path. Okay, so really important, if you're noticing that, to start working with the number 6. So some of the virtues and some of the qualities that we see with the number 6 are sacredness, dedication, reverence, diligence, harmonizing, wise, enchanting, spiritual, prayerful, meditative, and contemplative. And a beautiful motto is, I am the creator of my destiny. Because remember, 6 is the arc line. So that is that dance between our fate and our destinies. So let's look at the cosmic and astrological alignments that we meet this month, in the month of June. There's quite a lot that's happening. But there's just a few that I wanted to really focus on. June is a potent month for us. We have summer solstice up here in the northern hemisphere, and the winter solstice in the southern hemisphere. So it's a powerful day for us, powerful frequencies. So from a cosmic alignment perspective, we've had a tremendous amount of solar flares. I think I completely missed the boat in last month's assessment of it. I did say that we were going to be getting some solar flares to support. It was going to be different to April. April's energy, it was going to feel a little bit more like a tsunami. well, I didn't quite interpret that correctly because, oh my God, it was a humdinger in terms of the record amount of solar flares that we've had. So remember, solar flares is separate from anything that disempowers you and puts you into victim consciousness and separate from your truth and the path that you came here to be. Connect in from a sovereign place, from a place of discernment and from a place of alignment and empowerment, standing in truth and power. Solar flare and anything else, all the wisdom teachings around the sacred geometries and numerology, cosmic alignments, astrological alignments, are all tools, cosmic tools to assist us, if we wish, for our soul evolution, growth and progress. Yes, when we are navigating these frequencies, they are going to bring up a lot of distortion for us. And we can feel quite disconnected from our sovereignty or our empowerment when we are in a huge pathway of distortion or an involutionary pathway, dark night of the soul pathway. So the invitation is always to meet everything that is being brought forward, cosmically for you in a way of, right, this is what it is. This is what I'm being faced with. This is what's coming through from the cosmic frequencies. How can I use this to assist me right now? And even if it's a tiny little bite size that you can take, that's fine. You don't have to take the whole piece. But you get to choose. That's the most important piece. You get to choose. So let's look at the energies of this month and how we can use them, knowing what we know already about the hexagram and the number 6, all of the information that we have learned already. How can we use all of these, weave them all together to assist us this month? So firstly, I want to look at the Gemini energy first, because we're in the month of Gemini. So we moved out of, so here's Gemini. Let's see, yeah, that's clear. So we're in the month of Gemini. We've moved out of we're moving out of Taurus energy because we're just about to come into the Gemini new moon. So we're moving out of the Taurus energy, which is all about earth. It's all about this heaviness, this groundedness, this connectedness, that bull energy. And we're moving into Gemini, the twins. And Gemini is air. Air is connected to intellect, to thinking. The Lord of communication, of intellect, of wisdom, channeled wisdom, divine wisdom that comes through is Mercury. And we just spoke about Mercury's dance through the skies in the hexagram shape. So we've got a really strong Mercury influence this month, which most of us are like, oh, for goodness sake, we've just come out of all of those Mercury retrogrades. Like, for goodness sake, do we really need to do this? But again, Mercury, I'm really learning to love Mercury in terms of what he brings us in terms of teaching, in terms of expansion. So let's step into the main qualities. When we look at Gemini, Gemini is all about our lungs, heart chakra. Lungs is heart chakra. So we see the 6 coming through here again. It's about our lungs. It's about our shoulders. It's about our hands, our nerves. It's about dualism. It's about the 2, dualism. So everything we've spoken about in terms of our pentagram is all about dualism, light and dark. Okay. It's about connection, community, relationship, communication, cross-pollination, how we gather information and share. This is so important for community and connection. So we stepped out of Taurus, which can be very isolated sometimes and focus really on itself. And we're very much stepping into this community and this sharing and this relation, because Gemini is the two twins which are facing each other. So it's very much this dualism, the polarity here, and they're facing each other and they're building this relationship. So this month, there's a huge theme for this, is this relationship. How can we build this relationship with ourselves that is aligned, that is going to support our growth? What needs healing? Where do we need to bring our attention this month in this relationship? Go back to the number 6, this heart connection, this opening, this acceptance. The shadow side of the 6, I forgot to mention, is the perfectionist, the judge, the critic. So what needs healing as we come into this relationship? Look at the relationships around us. What needs healing in the relationships around us? How can we fortify? How can we strengthen our relationships? What is required? Is it through communication? Is it through heart-led actions? Or is it through stepping away completely? Do we really need to step away? And I feel that this month is really going to bring us up close and personal to some of these stepping away and this closing down. It very much feels like there's an energy of closing cycles this month, terminating, stepping away from, terminating contracts, terminating vows, terminating old commands that we have, outdated commands, terminating outdated ways of thinking about ourselves, about the collective. It's about really stepping away from that so that we can step into this new spiral that's coming forward this month. Cross-pollination is all about this gathering. What do we need that is going to assist us? How can we share it? How can we share these resources, these tools that we have been working on since our winter solstice? So here in the north, since winter solstice, we have been working on ourselves as we have been emerging into the light. And we are now in full bloom. We're in the solar, summer solstice, which is a full solar expression. So this is everything that we have cultivated and grown and worked towards. So how can we express this? How can we share this? In the winter, for those who are in the northern and the southern hemisphere, who are coming into their winter solstice, you're going down into this downward spiral of retreating, of really looking at what are those final pieces that need to be cleared, because you're now going to be going into that decomposting, the decomposition. And that decomposition is really important because that is the nutrient that you will use in that full darkness so that you can really go into that death process to be rebirthed new. So we're going through this beautiful period, whichever part of the globe, northern or southern part of the globe you're in. So what can we share as we're stepping in? What is it that we can cultivate if you're in the southern hemisphere from that decomposting that's going on? What can you cultivate? What can you absorb as nourishment? Remember, 6 energy nourishment. And if we're in the northern hemisphere, what can we share or gather from others to further assist us so we can be fully nourished and radiant? Okay. This month is also all about our expression. Communication is huge. We have the Lord of Communication, Mercury, Lord of Communication, who rules Gemini, okay, playing through the entire month with the 6 frequencies and really ruling the Gemini season for us. And what can we work through in terms of expression? So self-expression. So we're still looking at a little bit of last month's energy with Taurus throat chakra and this communication. So we're still linked here to the throat chakra. And how can you start looking at pathways, developing pathways for self-expression? You know, is this journaling? How can you express? Is it writing? Is it movement? Is it art? How can you express yourself? Find a mechanism, find a pathway for expression, because it's through this that Mercury will channel through that divine wisdom, channel that light forward for you so that you can start to work on that pathway for yourself. Okay. So we've looked a little bit at Gemini's energy. Let's step into what we are seeing this month. Okay. So there's a lot happening in the beginning part. This is the first week. So we're in the first week of June as I record this. It's the 4th of June today. So we're coming up to the 6/6 portal. So for me, the 6/6 portal up until the summer solstice is a powerful gateway for us. Again, step into the information that's come forward from the teachings of the number 6 and the hexagram. Really connect in with those and bring them, weave them into 6/6 portal. So here we're in the 6/6 portal, this powerful place of connecting into all of creation through the heart, through this bridge. You are this bridge. Okay? You are here. You're the one who's anchoring in your divine blueprint, acting as this bridge between these realms to assist the collective, to enhance your growth, your healing. And we've got the 6/6 portal, which is a potent time for us to activate that frequency, that healing, and those teachings for ourselves. So use this time, use 6/6 portal to really step into what needs to be cleared for me to step forward in my divine embodiment. Because 6 is about that divine embodiment. It brings forward that soul-led, heart-led teachings. And that is also all about our sacred union. When we look at the 6/6, it's about the cosmic beauty, because 6 is cosmic beauty. It's cosmic flow. It connects us to the symmetry of all. And it connects us to that key of all of creation. So we can come into this process of sacred union through cosmic flow by tapping into the 6/6 portal and working with the 6/6 portal frequencies, which I'm sure we'll have lots of solar flares. Use them as we step towards our 20th of June, summer solstice in the north, winter solstice in the south. Okay, so here we are rebirthing ourselves as the new in the solstice period on the 20th of June. So powerful days for us to connect in, beautiful gateway for us to work through. You've got keys, you've got teachings to use, to anchor in, to really assess. This gateway period is for us it's going to be a tough teacher, because for us, it's about us being really centered within ourselves. And for those who have people pleaser tendencies, and right now in the collective field, and I've spoken about this in class a couple of weeks ago in the classes I teach, is that we are walking through the collapsing of the narcissist people pleaser construct. So for those who have the people pleaser tendencies, for the narcissist, for that whole construct, and for those who are in those relationships, those connections, those communication patterns, it's going to be a really challenging period as we step into this place of really centering ourselves into the heart portal and stepping into this place of being service to ourselves so that we can be this conduit, and then being of service to others in a healthy boundary, really firm, strong, clear, lineated place. Okay, really important. Okay. So I've spoken about the solstice, and I've spoken about the 6/6 portal. Another hugely important thing that is happening for us on the 6th of the 6th is that Venus, the goddess Venus, the goddess of love, the Aphrodite codes, the goddess of beauty, she has slowly been, if you go back to all the other recordings that I've have all the other teachings, my monthly teachings, you'll see that I always talk about Venus. So Venus has been slowly moving into, moving out of her place as the morning star, and she is now starting her journey, her underworld journey, as the evening star, which is deeply reflective, the contemplative, the deep wisdom. So when we work with Venus in her underworld journey, she really guides us as she starts this pathway of her underworld journey into this deep contemplation and reflection, so that we can be clear of what needs to be released. So there is deep wisdom coming forward from us, from Venus. Venus, as she travels, she dances through the stars, through the skies. She will have her, what is called the synodic cycle. It's a 584-day synodic cycle. So her synodic cycle, 584-day synodic cycle, starts on the 6th of the 6th. So she will do her underworld journey. She'll travel into the underworld for about close to 10 months, 9.5 months, and then start her upper world, her ascension process. And we'll see her rising in the east as the morning star. And if we work with Venus through her synodic cycle, there is a great mysteries are revealed to us. There is a lot of mystery teachings. There is deep embodiment of our authentic self. And there is a sacred union, because we really work on the process of alchemy as we step into that underworld journey, meeting the shadow, walking through those gates, and finding that medicine in that final process. As we are working, as we're walking the underworld, we really learn to understand the medicine that heals our wound, and to integrate that so that we can return as whole, and we can move through our cycle as whole. And she takes us through those patterns through the year. So that's a powerful teaching for us with Venus. Okay. So let's, there's quite a lot actually happening. So I look at my notes and I chuckle. It looks ominous, doesn't it? It's not meant to be ominous at all. It's just, I think, hey, there's lots happening for us. And obviously, I like to give a lot of information, but I'm just careful. I need to be careful about how much, because I don't want this to be too lengthy. So we've got a lot that's happening astrologically, and there's a lot of wisdom and teachings to tap into for us as we work with what is happening astrologically. So right now, this first week or so of June, we still have Mars and Chiron. Where's our Chiron? Mars and Chiron are still kind of working together. They're doing their dance. And that's going to carry on for a little bit while longer. We still have Pluto that is in retrograde. Pluto is the planet of transformation. So we are going to have this influence the entire month. Okay. Pluto is the planet of transformation. It is the wrecking ball. Go back to the other videos. I speak about it in the other videos. And it is the Lord of the underworld. It takes us into our underworld journey. So we have got Pluto, which is lined up with Aquarius, which is transforming the heck out of the old patriarchal systems, which are not supporting all of creation's evolutionary growth. Okay, so we've got that that's still heavily influencing us this month. We have Mars and Chiron still playing in our charts. And Mars is the fire, fiery energy. Mars rules Aries, so it's all of that fiery initiating, that strong, it's courage. It's really this leading us. It's that strong divine masculine energy within us all. And it's really moving us into this path of alignment, and it's asking us to be courageous. But Chiron is the wounded healer. Chiron has worked through all the pathways of all the medicines. Chiron knows all the medicines available to us. So when we look at these two alignments, what we're learning here this month, in the month of Gemini, communication, the month of relationship, community, connection, right? And everything it teaches us. With Mercury, the Lord of communication, what Chiron is doing is it's showing, reflecting to us where our wound, our Mars wound sits. So what is our Mars wound? And what we're seeing collectively, particularly this month with all of the communication, is this freedom, this expression. So if you're noticing that that is there for you, really step into doing some work here. So going back to self-expression, what needs to be communicated? Go back to the number 6, go back to the hexagram. Okay. So here it is all about breaking the silence, speaking up, stepping forward, sharing. Okay. Opening up this form of expression that we have here, this heart-led expression, not the distorted patriarchal system, forms of expression that we currently have. Now, if expression is not your wound, take a moment to think about what is your wound, what requires your courage as you work this month through these themes that Gemini, which is all about air, thinking, intelligence, connection, communication, relationship, interest. What are we interested in? What needs to be unpacked within us? So we've got all of these alignments. So with that, we've got Mars, Chiron, really opening up this wound for us. Behind that, we've got Pluto, which sits and governs and really transforming all of that for us. Okay, so powerful energies of transformation for us this month as we're working with some of the astrological alignments. And again, think about what the sacred geometries and the numerology are bringing forward in their teachings. Weave that into this. How can you use that? What do you need to integrate for yourself? What discipline do you need to create for yourself to assist you in this healing? So I'm thinking at the moment of the number 6 in terms of, the meditative practice, being more prayer-like with the practice, coming into the stillness, creating flow. What's going to bring flow? Is it movement? Is it drawing? Is it singing in the shower? What is it for you? So really stepping up into that and looking at that place where you really are stuck, this same shit, different day, how you, yeah, same shit, different day, same, I know I got pretty stuck on the weather, like, the weather, same shit, different day. So what can be shifted there? So let's think about that. We also have, during the month, we've got Mars and Pluto, which kind of do a dance for us in the skies. Big energy, that Mars and Pluto, because we've got this divine masculine energy about really asking us, with the element of fire, really asking us to step into this place of courage with the Lord of transformation. Pluto is also very fiery energy. And for us to navigate that, so what do you need to do to assist you in that? So this is a little bit later in the month, between the 2nd and 3rd week of the month. Again, go back to some of the other teachings I have. We really need to work on our nervous system. This is really a month for us to take that time to work on those thoughts, the mental body, because Mercury does influence the mental body. It does influence our thinking, and to really take the time to process some of those thoughts so that we can be quite clear of what needs letting go. Where do we need to bring healing in those thought processes as we continue to do the work to regulate our nervous system? Remember, Gemini is about nerves as well. So the nervous system is going to require a lot of work for us so that we can be in that place of cosmic flow and of cosmic abundance and creativity and expression. We need this open, expansive nervous system, to bring that on board. So your nervous system tools and regulations will be really important here, taking that time to understand our emotions, because we are going to experience a lot of emotions coming up when Mercury and Mars and Pluto and Chiron do their magic for us in the skies. Okay, so they will each download codes and frequencies for us that we can use to assist. And we can tap into that. Okay. We've also got, towards the end of the month, we have got Mercury and Saturn. So Mercury is all about communication. Okay. It's all about bringing forward the divine intellect, divine wisdom to transcend the lower egoic mind. And we've got Saturn. So this is probably going to feel quite challenging for us, because Saturn, the clue is in all of the rings. You can see, that's going to be a lot of constriction. Saturn really highlights for us the restrictions, the limitations that we are carrying. So this is going to be a beautiful opportunity for us to start to work through. And we can invite the energies of Pluto and Chiron, powerful transformation. Chiron, inviting Chiron in to be the wisdom teacher, to help you alchemize that wound and create that magic of wound wisdom. And you can step into that. So Saturn will show us, highlight for us all that is in limitation and restriction. And this is all happening near the solstice period. So a powerful time for us, and it'll be in that gateway between the 6/6 portal till the 20th. It's in that powerful portal for us where we can really step in. Venus is starting her underworld, so we can really be deeply reflective within us to really understand these final pieces of these limitations for us. So again, it's an interesting month as we are working on breaking free. Last month was all about liberation. It was all about freedom. This month is about expression. It's about communication. It's about creating flow, connection. But it's also about this deeper connection into yourself as this powerful being of light that you are, and really activating that wisdom. And we've got this beautiful alignments here that help us break free from that, as Mercury opens up these pathways of communication, intelligence, but also works through those neural pathways, which maybe don't allow you to see the gifts and the magic, the beauty that you hold, and the potent power that your gifts hold for you, as well as the collective. Okay, so the final piece that I wanted to look at is just the themes for the new moon. So we have the new moon, which is on the 6th of the 6th. So we've got the new moon on the 6th of the 6th. We've got the 6/6 portal, and we've got Venus, who starts her 584 Sidonic cycle. So new moon, taking this time up until the new moon to really think about, what we spoke about already up until this point. What needs clearing? What needs to be eliminated? So double, this is why I did the double boundaries here. What needs to be cleared so that you can step into this void point? So new moon, as we step into this void point, okay? As we step into this void point of all of creation, we have this key that unlocks the mysteries and allows us to access our body of light so that we can access our full potential. What do you need to clear for that? And the thought point for our new moon is, I build strong neuro pathways by acknowledging the difference between opinions and facts. Discernment is required. This is very much a Mercury and Gemini. It's all about communication. We are very much in the frequencies and collective breaking down of all distorted, distorted pathways of communication, and where we have been restricted with information. We are seeing a huge disclosure unraveling. We're starting to see a lot of truths being revealed to us. And our discernment is really, really important right now for us to be really discerning of the information we receive and whether it is in alignment for us and whether it is someone's opinion or whether it's a fact. And this is why I zero-point field, I invite everyone to zero-point field their awareness so that everything that you are receiving or choosing to work with from this is in true alignment for you and not anything that is creating more distortion that you need to work through. So the new moon really helps us work with helping to build those pathways so that we can really center ourselves into this place of deep knowing. Okay, as this bridge, we truly know ourselves and truly know what that alignment point is. We can be really discerning. The full moon, which will be on the 22nd of the 6th, so just post solstice, and it's full moon in Capricorn. Okay, and Capricorn is governed by Saturn, structure, limitations. So Capricorn is all about ambition. It's all about goals. And Saturn rules Capricorn. So here, what we're working through on the full moon is, where are we being restricted? What can we release? What are those limitations that we can clear that are stopping us from being aligned to our goals? Now, Capricorn holds a very masculine energy, but by this point, we will be moving into Cancer, which is a very feminine energy. So here we can see that we can balance out. So we are being asked with the full moon to really come into a place of balance when we anchor in the full moon energy, when we anchor in what we are wanting to call forward in our goals, our ambitions as we step forward. So Capricorn really can align us to that. But we need to balance the field a little bit over there. So when we look at full moon, creativity and balance is important. Where can you bring more balance to your energy? So remember, before the full moon, we would have had all of those really heavily transformative and illuminating energies of Mars, of Chiron, of Pluto, of Mercury working together. So by the time we're at full moon, we would have been a lot clearer, or should be a lot clearer, in terms of what needs to be cleared from our field, cleared from our space, so that we can create a life that is more harmonious, more in flow, more in balance. So this is work-life balance. Go back to the 6th, all about this flow and this balance. Go back to the hexagram, which brings cosmic flow. So we can't be all work, right? Well, that's same shit, different day energy, isn't it? That's where we get stuck and stagnant. So we have this lovely balancing energy that comes in at the full moon to support us, bringing that flow in. And the thought point for the Capricorn full moon on the 22nd is, my dreams become manifest when I consider the ripple effect of others. So remember, Pentagon is a powerful, I keep saying it, hexagon. Hexagon, here we go. It's right in front of me, and I keep saying Pentagon. Hexagon is a powerful manifestation geometry. So is a pentagon. I mean, this is why I keep getting it muddled, right? So we can really anchor in full moon. The full moon is a beautiful time for us to really call in those manifestations. And also to see, you know, Capricorn is about actions, and how is that affecting others? And we're in the month of relationships. So really important for us to be discerning of that. All right, my lovely ones. I think there's a lot of information to digest there for you as you think about all of these themes that we have been working on, the sacred geometry, the numerology. There is going to be a lot of cosmic energy coming in terms of flares. Please look after yourself. Really, for me, my pathway is breath work, movement, meditation, nature. I spend a fortunate amount of time in nature. It is most beneficial for me, just listening to her, listening to what she needs, and working with her to help balance my field. So really, the invitation is to find pathways that work with you. We are working in a pathway month as well. So find those pathways that work with you. And the final invitation is for those who aren't on my newsletter. I will send it out on the newsletter. I will share it on my social media accounts as well. So if you're not on my social media accounts, all the links are below. You can go and find me on social media as well. I do have the solstice meditation. This is a free meditation. It's a global meditation. And this is where we work on anchoring in the healing codes and frequencies which are available to us to bring healing, to bring harmony into the collective. So the invitation is to join me for that. And I'd like to wish you a happy, expansive, healing and illuminating month. This month is going to bring a lot of wisdom. And yeah, I wish you a happy healing journey in that. Namaste.